Hello, this is Mark Satterfield. Welcome to this month's Gentle Rain Inner Circle program on Internet Traffic Secrets, how to get on the first page of Google. As you can tell, I'm doing this a bit differently this month. Traditionally, we sent you PowerPoint slides and a audio link, and did get some feedback from Inner Circle members that they found it a bit cumbersome, that they had to open up a separate browser to put the link in, and they found that to be a little bit awkward. And the fact that the audio did not sync up with the slides, you kind of had to figure out when to advance the slides from when I was talking. So what I thought I'd do is just go ahead and record this for you and give you a link and allow you the opportunity to take a look at this as often as you want. We'll keep the link up indefinitely. So hopefully you'll find this to be a good or better way of disseminating the information to you. And naturally, of course, I'd love your feedback. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started with this month's topic. What I'm going to be talking about today is how to get your website and specifically your web page highly ranked. We're going to discuss some of the common errors that people make in terms of their websites. And, there's some really simple stuff you can do that is going to rather dramatically improve how your page is ranked, your visibility, and as a consequence, the quality and the quantity of the people that come to your site. We're going to explore a number of different strategies in terms of getting people to come to your site and getting your site highly ranked. As I go through this, I'll be talking about, some of the stuff requires a little bit of investment. Nothing is terribly expensive by any means. But I'll share with you what I think is worth investing in, and as I talk about this, I'll also share with you what I probably would avoid. All right, well, let's talk a little bit about PageRank and how it's determined. First of all, we're focusing on Google, but from a practical standpoint, if you get highly ranked on Google, you'll get highly ranked everywhere else. If you can get on the first page of Google, you'll be on the first page of MSN and Yahoo and search. So I mean, you'll be on all the other all the other search engines. Now, what I'm going to be talking about as we go through this is really strategies along two main components. One being on-page optimization and the other being off-page optimization. And on-page are simply what are the things that you want to do on your website and on the specific web page that you're trying to get visibility for. What are some of the things that you can do to ensure that you get that high rank? And then off-page optimization are what are the other things you can do that will cause your website to get highly ranked? So we want to think about this as on-page and off-page optimization. Where I would start, of course, is on-page. And really, everything I'm talking about, you can do pretty easily yourself if you're familiar with, if you're your own webmaster, or if you're like me, a guy who really can't spell HTML. Just have whoever does your website do it for you. It probably won't take them more than 15 minutes to do the things that I'm talking about. All right, well, let's start in the beginning, because sometimes there's a little bit of a misconception about all of this. And so I want to start with, what exactly are you getting ranked for? We hear the come-ons, we hear the promotions for get your website on the first page of Google. And really, that's not true. It's not as though all of a sudden we go to Google and your website just magically appears. And in fact, it really isn't your website. Really what we're talking about here is we're getting your web page on the first page of Google for very specific either keywords or key phrases. So what you want to be thinking about, of course, is people search on Google using very specific keywords and key phrases. And so it's a matter of when they put those words in, does your page, does your website, does it show up? So naturally, the more keywords that you want to rank high for, the more that you're going to have to employ these strategies for each keyword. Thus, the important first step is to determine what keywords you want to go after. Because as I say, you're not just going to have your site magically appear. Your site is going to appear for specific keywords. So keywords fall into two types. There's single words like, marketing or productivity or leadership. And then there are what we call long tail keywords. And long tail keywords is just kind of internet marketing talk for short phrases. So think about, somewhere between 2 to 5 words. Now, there's some trade-offs. There's some advantages and disadvantages. The single words, the big advantage is, of course, they get high traffic. People are searching for leadership a lot. But they are much more difficult to get ranked highly for. Now, the other thing that you want to keep in mind is that this is not really a game of quantity as much as it is a game of quality. And those that research this are pretty adamant and pretty clear about the fact that single keywords attract browsers, whereas the long tail keywords, people that put in phrases, attract buyers. And naturally what we're trying to do is we're trying to focus on the latter. So with the long tail keywords, naturally we're going to get less traffic for each individual word or each individual phrase, but we are going to attract much more serious inquiries. Now, the big advantage, of course, is that we get these more serious inquiries, but we also, it's easier to get highly ranked. Now, Marketing Coach, I show up in terms of Marketing Coach just because I've been doing this for a long time. But Marketing Coach is is a more difficult search term for me to get rather than Marketing Coach Atlanta. So one of my strategies with a lot of my videos is to go after keywords that associate Marketing Coach with various cities. So I've got Marketing Coach Atlanta, Marketing Coach Chicago, et cetera, et cetera. Now, the same thing would be for leadership. If you put leadership in, well, first of all, you're going to get a lot of people that, aren't probably looking for what you have to offer, because if you're doing leadership training, they may be looking for leadership assessments, they may be looking for leadership articles, they may be looking for internal development, may be looking for management development, they may be looking for senior level development. It could be a lot of different things. So you're not going to get people that are pinpoint in terms of what you're doing. Plus, it's a difficult term to get highly ranked for. So rather than leadership training, I would probably go after a phrase such as leadership training financial services, if that's the particular niche that you're going after. So think about your keyword in terms of what you're offering, coupling it with the specific niche that you're going after, because again, that's going to be a little bit easier. And as your first time out trying to get highly ranked for certain keywords, I'd go after those keywords that you think are going to be most productive for you. And then as you have time or inclination, you can go after the more difficult terms or the ones that are kind of in your second tier. Now, determining what keywords you want to go after, fortunately there's some really great tools out there that can help you. Now, if you have a Google AdWords campaign, and you really should, so you go to Google.AdWords or google.com/AdWords and sign up for an AdWords campaign. They have got an absolutely wonderful keyword tool where you can put in a single keyword and you'll get not only other single keywords if you are so desired to go after that, but more importantly, what you'll do is you'll get long tail keywords, the keyword phrases. There's another tool out there called Spacky, SPACKY.com. And this is a free keyword tool. And I think it's not quite as effective as Google, but if you don't have a Google account, it's probably the best of the free tools. Now, what I would do is I'd spend a little time on this issue and really think about what are the top 3 or 4 keywords that you most want to rank highly for. Because some of these strategies that we're going to talk about, they're going to be limited to, in some cases, only 1 or 2 of your top keywords. But in many cases, it's really thinking about 3 or 4 keywords that you most want to rank highly for and go after those. Okay, so this would be the first step, and I'd spend a little bit of time figuring that out. Okay, so how does Google determine page rank? Well, the truth is no one really completely knows outside of Google. Everyone, has their theories. There are people who purport to say they absolutely know. But from a practical standpoint, outside of Google, nobody really knows. And the issue is compounded a bit by the fact that Google keeps changing its algorithms. But we do know some things. Right now, at this moment, as I'm recording this and sending it to you, rank is largely determined by relevance. Now, there's 2 main factors, and I'll go into this in more detail, that determine relevance, which is, number 1, what's on your page, and then second of all, who is linking to you. Now, that's going to change soon, and Google's in the process of really starting to change its criteria. And its criteria is going to shift from one of just pure relevance to who else is talking about you, who else recommends you, because naturally what Google is all about is archiving information, and they want to have the best information be available on the first page when someone is searching around a certain topic. And so one of their rationalizations, one of their thinking points is the fact that if more people are talking about you, then you're probably someone who's an expert. So what this means, and if you want to get ahead of the curve, what I'd be focusing on is I'd be focusing on social media, I'd be focusing on blogs, I'd be focusing on having visibility on the forums, because in the next year or so, that's going to be increasingly important in terms of Google, how Google ranks you. But I kind of throw that out as, kind of the popcorn report for the future, because I don't want us to get too ahead of ourselves, because most of you guys, are really kind of fundamentally working at a basic level, which is very good. And I want to get you ranked kind of using what's important right now. But regardless, the strategies that you do put in place now, they're going to help you, regardless of the changes that Google makes. So it's not as though the world is going to change dramatically. All right, well, let's talk about the page ranking process. You've all heard about the Google Spiders. That's a pretty cool literary tool. And actually, it's fairly accurate, because Google's software does go out and it's really accessing the entire internet, unbelievable as that may sound. It really is going out, looking at all the web pages, and so they're coming to your site, and what they're doing is they're giving you credit based on a number of factors. And this isn't a comprehensive list, but these are the big ones. And age of your site is a factor. The older your site is, the better. How often does the content on your site change? That's the reason blogs rank high, because with a blog, of course, you're changing it on a daily, weekly, at least a monthly basis, and so it gets re-indexed every time that you make a change. Content on your site is important, and this is a real word to the wise for a lot of you, because more words the better. A lot of you are still in that camp of, you've got a home page which has got, less than 250 words. And, remember that these Google Spiders are indexing your page. And if there's nothing on your page, well, it is kind of tough to give it a whole lot of credit. So remember, you want to have a lot of stuff on these pages. And we've talked about in other programs about the format for, what you want to have on your home page, what you want to have on your sales page. Now, one of the keys, and I've talked about this in some of the emails I sent you before this program, is that you want the keywords to appear early on your site. Now, that's the reason why the meta tags and the title tags are very important, because when you look at the code on your site, this is what shows up first. First is your title tag, and then is your meta tag. So those are very important. And then, of course, also, and I'm going to talk about this in more detail because this is huge, is who is linking to your site. So let's talk about these in a bit more detail. Now, when the spiders scan your site, what it is it's the first 250 words that appear in your code for your site that are the most important. So, you want to see the code for your site? It's real simple. Simply right-click on your web page, and then a little box will appear, and then select View Source. And what will pop up is a bunch of HTML code, and you will see that there is, title tag, there is meta tag, and you can actually count the words that appear on your site. It's the first 250 words that are the most important. So as a result, title tag and meta tag that appear at the very top, it's crucial that you have your uber important keywords in both of those. And remember, people forget about the title tags. Most everybody does the meta tags, but people forget about the title tags. And then the first 250 words in the body of your website. So you want to have your words appearing there as well. Now, when you're doing your meta tags and your title tags, here's a couple things you want to keep in mind. Meta tags and title tags, you don't want them to exceed more than 83 characters. If you start to get more than 83 characters, it starts to actually hurt you rather than help you in terms of how your page is accessed. So really what we're talking about is we're probably only talking about one or two, keyword phrases maximum. You want, these keywords to appear or your other keywords to appear within the 250 words, as I mentioned. And it appears, this is a little bit, you hear conflicting reports on this, but it appears that you get credit for repeating your keywords twice, but you don't really get much credit, for anything more than that. So, as I say, jury's a little bit out on that, but if you can somehow, without it having it be, obvious that you're trying to repeat it twice, if you can incorporate your keyword phrases twice into the text on your page, that appears to be helpful. All right, so let's talk about another way of getting yourself highly ranked, which is blogs. Now, blogs, what makes them powerful is what I talked about before, is that the content's changed frequently, or at least it should be. As a result, it gets re-indexed by the spiders regularly. Now, for some people, this makes sense to have a blog as their primary website. For example, my personal trainer, Kim Trigo, has CrossFitNorthFulton.com, and that's her website. Now, for her, that makes a lot of sense because she's updating the exercise of the day, the workout of the day, and she posts pictures of people, and she encourages people to go to the blog, and there's a lot of community reinforcement. So for her as a trainer, this makes perfect sense. Now, for most of us, we're really not having a sense of community. I mean, I'm that way. I mean, hopefully those of you who are coming to Atlanta on May 14th for the program, you're going to enjoy meeting each other, and there'll be some networking opportunities, obviously, and I imagine some good business deals will get done. But, you're not really a community. The leadership consultant doesn't really have that much in common with the executive search consultant, who doesn't really have that much in common with the dental practice management consultant. So for people like me, and really for you, it doesn't make enormous amounts of sense to have your blog as your primary website. However, that doesn't mean that you should not have a blog. In fact, I do believe that you should. So what you want to do is you want to set up a blog, and there's lots of different blog programs out there. WordPress is probably the best known. They are either free or ridiculously inexpensive. But the nice thing about your blog is you can have links to your main site or links to your various sales pages. So, every time you make a change to your blog, in effect what you're doing is you're updating the backlink to your main site. So, you'll notice that on a lot. I have about 4 different blogs, depending upon different relationships I have with people. And, on my blogs, there are sometimes daily or weekly videos. And I encourage you to really be thinking about doing video. I'll talk about this in a bit more detail in just a moment. But Google loves video. So if you can put your videos on the blog, this is great. So for example, this video, which is going to appear on some form of a blog website, Google's going to love this particular page. It's probably going to give it a fairly high ranking, and because this page is backlinked to my home page, that's going to help in terms of my home page listing in the natural search. But whether you do video or not, at least having text updates on your blog, that's going to, again, increase your visibility. Okay, well, I know what's happening right now. Your brain's kind of tuning out. You're kind of going, oh, God, this sounds like a lot of work. Well, look, okay, getting things done requires one of two things. And you guys are smart, and you guys know this. And it requires either time or money. Now, you can go out and you can hire somebody to, do all this. Or, if you can't, then you go out and you do it yourself. And it's not that difficult. It does require a certain amount of time. But, a lot of you, your business is kind of slowed down. And, you can take the time to go to these, endless lunch meetings where you're mostly meeting people similar to yourself. Or you can take that time and start to invest in things like this, which are going to work on a recurring basis to get you, more visibility, more traffic, and ultimately more business. Now, that's your decision. You obviously know where I stand on it. I'm just not a big believer in focusing on just doing stuff where there's a lot of labor, because first of all, you spend a lot of labor to get any kinds of results, and second of all, once you do start to get busy, then what's happening is you no longer have the time to do all the luncheon and meet and greets and the PowerCore meetings and all the other networking stuff. So your pipeline dries up, and then in 6 months you're back in the same camp. So yeah, this is some work, but the nice thing about it is once you set up the system, once you set up the process, then you got something that's going to run for you for literally years to come. So anyway, that's my soapbox. All right, so let's now talk about links, because this is huge. And, meta tags, title tags, that's all important stuff. But realistically, the big kahuna, the proverbial big elephant in the room, is links. Now, remember, it's who links to you. It's not who you link to. That doesn't mean anything. You can link to CNN or to Amazon.com all you want. That's not going to make any difference. It's who links to you. And all links are not equal. So who do you want links from? You want links from sites with high Google page ranks. All pages have a Google rank, and it's basically done on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 Google reserves for themselves. Places like CNN and Amazon, I think they're around an 8. General Rain, I think we're around a 6, which is pretty good. So what you want is good quality sites linking to you. What's the definition of good quality sites? Sites that rank somewhere between 5 to 7. That's going to be the sweet spot on the sites that you want linking to you. So let's talk about how do we get sites to link to you. There's a number of different strategies. You could research and contact the sites one by one. Remember what I told you. Any kind of problem is solved by either investing time or investing money. So you don't have any money, you can invest your time, you can research, and you can contact the sites one by one. It works. I've got a client that is in an aspect of the leadership development. He's gone around and figured out people that would be synergistic with him, and went out and contacted them one by one. Spent a fair amount of time doing it, but it's got some real good quality links. Or, and this is what I do, you can just go out and buy the links. Now, let's talk about how much would you expect to pay. Well, there's a formula. The formula is basically this. Page rank times 10 equals the amount you pay plus or minus 10. All right, so let me give you an example, because that probably made no sense. It confused me. Okay, so a page rank of 10 equals $50 plus or minus $10. So for a page rank of 5 to get a link, you'd pay between 40 to 60. Okay? So it's page rank times $10 equals what you're going to pay plus or minus 10. Page rank of 5, you're looking at $50 plus or minus 10. So the amount you pay for a link with a page rank of 5 is between 40 and 60. So now what are the best sites to link to? Because, we got all sorts of all sorts of different stuff, and actually starting next year, we're going to be able to have anything pretty much you want. The thing is opening up wide open. So there's going to be a big land grab for stuff. And that's coming the first part of next year. But best sites to link to right now in terms of page rank, it's actually not .com. The best sites to link to right now are .edu, .org, then .com, .biz. And this is just in terms of how Google indexes these pages. Now, the ones you want to stay away from are places like, .ch, or these are country codes. I can't remember what .ch is. I don't think it's China. I think it's Germany. But you want to stay away from the .ch, which are the countries. Now, again, remember that when you're buying links, you are buying links for specific search terms. So again, you're going back to those 3 or 4 key search terms. Everything is focused on that. We're not just doing your generic website. Now, where else can you buy? Well, not surprisingly, you can go to eBay. And if you go to eBay and you put in the search term PageRank, lo and behold, there will pop up a whole bunch of people that are selling links, and they'll tell you what their page rank is, and it's a pretty straightforward process. Again, you're looking for page rank 5 or higher, and you can buy them on eBay. Another place to go is linkadage.com. They've got a program called Flash Buys, and you can buy links from them. And again, it tells you all the information you want about how much they're charging, what their page rank is. You also want to have links where they're not just a link site. Once they start to have more than 20 links going out, the quality of the link diminishes. Now, another way you can do this is remember that some of the highly ranked sites out there are blogs. And the reason, of course, blogs are highly ranked is because the content continues to change. There's a website out there, and I've used this one a lot and gotten some pretty good results, called sponsoredreviews.com. And basically what this is you go to these, this is a service, and there are blogs out there that will actually review your site. And you tell them what keywords you would like to have them include in the review, and they will tell you how much they charge, and they will actually write a short review which they'll put on their blog, which links to your site. And again, you got now another link coming into your site, and that is all about helping you raise your visibility for certain keywords. So if you do all of this around those 3 or 4 keywords, you can very, very quickly get those keywords ranked pretty highly. Pretty highly. Isn't that good English? Now, another one, and you've heard me talk about this before, is articles. Some people say articles is old school, but boy, I tell you, it does work. Now, we're not talking about writing the great American novel. We're talking about 500 words. Now, if you can somehow get yourself organized so you can write 1 a week, this thing winds up being huge. Now, you can distribute it yourself to, you go on Google and look for article distribution services, or rather article directories, and you can do it 1 by 1, or you can shell out a little bit of money and you can use a program like articlemarketer.com that will distribute it all for you. And this, again, winds up being huge. So, for example, I've got an article called Reduce Price Resistance. I checked it this morning just when I was developing these slides. As of today, it's been distributed 772 times. That's a lot of links. Each of those is a article directory, and that's a lot of links. It's number 1 right now on Google for the search term Reduce Price Resistance. So, articles can be really, really powerful, and I encourage you to really be doing that, doing something along those lines. also is video. Google's given lots of credit for video. And now remember, some of the time, you can do the talking head. And, a lot of this has to do with, how comfortable you are in front of the camera. I'm obviously someone who's pretty comfortable. You see my video, I'm sitting on the couch talking to you about, going to the Masters, and, my wife who's in the background is kind of making motions about, are you ever going to get to the point of what you're supposed to be talking about? But, there was a point about, going after, specific niche markets and trying to identify markets where you don't have to convince them to do business with you. But, some of us from the talking head standpoint are pretty comfortable and natural with it, and some of us aren't. But that doesn't mean if you aren't that you shouldn't be doing this, because what you can do is you can do these PowerPoint presentations with narration. Now, those of you who are going to write me an email saying, hey, the voice sounds echoey. Okay, well, yeah, I know that. Save the email. The real key here is obviously the content of what I am telling you, but I am sitting in front of a computer speaking into the screen, and this is real easy to do, and you can do the same thing. And remember that you are in the knowledge information business, okay? You're not Steven Spielberg. So, the quality has to be enough so that people understand you and that it comes across clearly. But, PowerPoint presentations with narration are, a real simple way of doing it. I've got a little bit of an advantage in the sense I'm on a Macintosh and I'm using their Keynote program to do this, which is real simple. It's a little bit, but not onerous to do it with PowerPoint. But, boy, you really ought to be thinking about video, and you ought to be thinking about then distributing your videos through Traffic Geyser, which sends them out through all the different traffic, all the video distribution services. YouTube, of course, is the biggest one, but they've only got about 11% of the market. So, this is something that you really should be thinking about. Traffic Geyser is a little pricey. It's about $100 a month, but if you're a coaching client of mine, here's a plug. I can send out your videos for you using my service. So there's yet another incentive to become my coaching client. How about that? Okay, well, anyway, this wraps up what I was going to talk to you about. Hope you found it helpful. Lots of good ideas. Again, it's all about implementation. We don't, this stuff doesn't happen because you watch videos. You got to take this stuff and you got to implement it. But think about both on-page and off-page optimization strategies, and remember that this whole thing is focused on specific keywords. So you want to start there, focusing on the specific keywords that you want to go after. And once you do that, there is no reason why you can't rank high for those initial keywords. And then you can go after, additional keywords. And depending upon, your interest and passion in this, you can get, as many keywords as you want ranked to rank highly for you. All right, a couple of other items I want to share with you. Still got seats available for the May 14th program here in Atlanta. It's at the Cobb Galleria, which is at Highway 75 and 285, which for those of you who are not from Atlanta probably means absolutely nothing, but it's about 45 minutes from the airport. So I hope that you'll take advantage of coming to the program. As you guys know, I meet personally very few people, so I'm looking forward to meeting a number of you. And I think you're going to get a lot out of the program. I think it's going to be really beneficial. And again, it's free, and I'm going to take the program and sell it for $1 gazillion, so you can save some money. Another thing that you really ought to be doing, if you are not, is considering becoming a Gentle Rain affiliate, which is just marketing speak for becoming a Gentle Rain partner. We've got this new continuity program, Marketing for Beginning and Intermediate Marketers. It's a monthly program. You can check it out. The sales page is GentleRainEasyMarketing.com. There's a link on my homepage. We're charging $27 a month, and it's specifically geared for folks who have never really done any marketing. And it's a great program. Takes them step by step, leaving nothing out. This is how you actually implement a marketing system. So it's really designed for all the people that, Lord love them, they got laid off from their job. They are hanging out their shingle as a consultant. They're working out of the spare bedroom. And, they just really don't know how to go about putting together anything that resembles a marketing plan. And so this program is just a step-by-step process, once a month, very specific, manageable, easy to digest, bite-sized piece with a little bit of homework, a little bit of interaction with me in terms of getting critiques via email. And heck, it's priced at $27. So, who wouldn't want to take advantage of this? Now, if you become a partner and start referring people into this program, I'm giving you 50%. But keep in mind, this is recurring income. So, you get that amount of money every single month. So if you got, 100 people, coming into the program, you'd be making $1,350 a month, $1,350 a month. Well, that's not putting you into a brand new tax bracket. But, hey, that's a mortgage payment, and it's $1,350 you didn't have before. And, got one guy that's on track to get, 500 people in. That's $6,750 a month. I love writing those kinds of checks. So this is something you ought to get involved in. It doesn't cost anything to be an affiliate, even if you don't do diddly poop with it, there's no harm, no foul. So you ought to at least sign up, and you can do that by going to gentlerainpartners.com. All right. Well, anyway, I hope you found this helpful. I hope the new format of delivering it to you was beneficial, made it a little bit easier to follow along. As always, I want to thank you very much for being a member of the Inner Circle. You guys are my creme de la creme of my group, so I'm very appreciative of it. And I'll look forward to talking to you next month. All right. So this is Mark Satterfield. Bye for now.